that was me. And I had straight hair like a poker. And I went in next door. I lived in 118 Friar Street.
Yes.
And the next door...
It's not straight hair.
Listen to me now. Next door, a lady hairdresser, Rosalind Edwards. And I went in, my mother wasn't there. And I went in and I said, Rosalind, can you please give me a wave, a sixpenny wave, and Mammy pay you when she comes back. Ooh, and I had a sixpenny wave of the tongs, and look, I had beautiful girls.
And did your mother pay for it?
Yeah, of course she did. Aye. Well, a pretty little girl too. Oh, that's my uncle.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's my Uncle Ronald. And that's my Auntie Sissy. She was from Northampton. She used to make gloves, right? And she married Uncle Ronald from the war.
Yes.
And that was the Christmas beast that won the prize for the Christmas market.
Oh, okay.
So they took...
Well, Ronald was a master butcher as well?
Yes, he was my father's older brother. He was older than Dad.
Yeah.
So he died when I was 10 months old.
And he fought in the First World War?
Yes. He deranged a bit of his head because he was shot in the hand. And they
I know this one.
They tied his hand to the flag, to the pole of the tent.
Yes.
And they cut all his fingers off, down to there. And he didn't have anaesthetic, just throwing whiskey down him. And it did a little bit to damage to his head, you know, and he went a bit nasty to my auntie. And I think they split up before they died. She went back to Northampton.
All right.
But he died in my father's house. I was a little baby in 115 Priory Street.
All right.
Aye, handsome man he was. Oh, that's Iris, my friend. Iris. That's Doris Lewis in the Facebook's auntie.
The dog there?
This is Doris Davina.
Yeah, with the panda.
Aye. Oh, now then. That's my grandmother.
No.
Yeah. It was taken in a glass picture, like glass.
Wow.
And that's her sister. And
she was about 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah. It was a glass.
Yeah.
That's what they had years ago, not a picture like paper, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Auntie Ellen.
Was she really your auntie?
She was my great auntie, because she was my grandmother's sister.
Oh, this is your grandmother on the Owen side?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
okay. Move on.
the lady, she rang Rebecca up. She lives in Egham in Surrey, not far from where...
When you say Surrey, do you mean Surrey?
Surrey.
Yeah.
Not far from Maidenhead, where the Sir live.
Yes.
And it's funny...
The bridegroom, yeah.
What you call Rebecca is a marine biologist, and her granddaughter, is an oceanographer. Very, to have two people in the same family, the same, isn't it? And she said whenever Rebecca is up next, she wished her joy in the wedding day.
Yes.
And Rebecca didn't know who she was, Rosemary.
No.
And she said, whenever you're up here, Rebecca, please give us a ring. Right. We must meet. So that was very nice. So she gave me that picture.
Ooh,
that's my mother and father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at her.
She was lovely.
She just reminds me of my sister.
Vicky, we used to call her, see?
Vicky?
Yeah, Victoria, because she wouldn't put any makeup on. She didn't smoke, didn't take a drink.
Good God. And run a pub?
And run in a pub.
But her name was?
Sarah, Sal.
Sal, yes.
Sal. And all the kids used to call her. Oh, and that's what you call the horse's tail.
Yes. So?
Horses were all tethered to the railings in St. Peter's Church.
It's an amazing photo.
And then we had a pub up here, the Printer's Arms.
Up on the left.
Yeah. And you heard the story about the horse coming into the bar.
Well, we might as well hear it again.
Oh, yeah, tell us that.
Yeah. Well, my mother, we had a girl helping us. She'd clean for my mother and in the printers. That's right. I was only about 6 or 7 and Anne was 14. And my mother was in the bar. Now it was horse sale and it was quite busy, you see. And they used to put sand on the road at Priory Street the horses, they used to run the horses up and down the street to see them galloping, see that they were in good fettle and all that. Or they would ride the horse, whichever, but the sand was always on the road. And my mother was serving in the bar now, and Alice, the little girl, she was about 15 or 16, she was to clean for my mother. So Alice had gone up to the smoke room. Now we had a big, long smoke room and two big, long tables and then seats either side. Everybody could have a sit down and chairs. It was lovely. And the bar then was quite a smaller place, a round square bar, and the bar was in front there, and the back then was a smoke room. So my mother was in the bar now, and it was quite full. And the door opened, well, she nearly died. A horse came in the door and a gypsy on his back. And the gypsy was laughing like hell. And his head was like that because he was touching the ceiling.
Yeah.
And the men were scared because and the horse was terrified. So some of the men tried and jumped over the bar.
Yeah.
And some of them were right in the corner. But in the end, whatever, my mother said to Alice, quick, she said, go down. After my father had the anthrax, he went over to the infirmary, the new wing, because we had 9 lodgers in the printers,
Yes.
and they were the builders from Mumbles in Swansea that were building the new wing. And they said to my father, Daddy said that he was looking for a little job or something. So he said, come down, labour and job, go in whenever you want it. So he went down there and he laboured for their family. Tyler, I think they were, from Swansea. And Dad was down there now, see, so she said to Alice, quick Alice, go down, she said, and fetch Dick and tell him it's an emergency. So she ran now down, only round the corner, ran down, Dick Owen's here, Dick Owen's here. Yes, so he said, over here, what's the matter? Oh, quick, tell him it's an emergency in the pub. So he came, what's the matter? Oh, I ran, and they ran up together now. Now my father, he used to handle horses because he used to, what do you call them? Train them.
Slaughter them?
No. He used to train them, not train them.
Yeah, train them.
No.
Handle them in the war.
No.
I thought he was with the Aussie Light.
Yes, I know, but he used to, what do you call them after? What do you call it?
I can't think.
Oh, I see, memory.
Not train.
Not train?
Jockey.
No. Jockey was 6'3".
I know. Tall jockey.
Well, of course, this man didn't have a shock. He didn't know that Daddy could handle a horse. So my father did. He came round and he caught hold of the bridle and he was punching the horse's nose like that. And somebody had opened the door and he reversed the horse out. And then he reversed him up that way. His back was going that way.
Yeah.
And then he was able to pull him down the front and out through the front door. And once the horse was out, he had hold of this girl. Come down, you bugger, come down. And he had hold of him up against the wall and gave him one. And he said, if I ever see your face in my pub again, he said, you won't be able to talk for a week, he said to him. He said, and he smacked the horse on the backside and then go after and get your bloody horse, he told him. And the horse would go like hell up Priory Street. Aye, but she said,
did you say your father was in the light infantry?
Yeah, Australian.
Oh, how did that happen?
Oh, another story.
Oh, that's another story. But go on.
Yeah, so...
Gallipoli.
Yeah, well, my father was in the Royal Engineers. And he went down to the station in Carmarthen to send his brother, Uncle Ronald, off because there was a troop train picking them up there. So that's what they used to do years ago, see? I don't know. And Uncle Ronald was going on the train to go to the war. And he was 15 months older than my father. So my Uncle Ronald was 18. So my father must have been about 16 and a half. And 6'3" as he was. And Mangi and Aunty Nancy and Uncle Elwyn were little young ones. And they'd gone down to the station to send Uncle Ronald off. And my dad was with them. And they took my father on the train. Oh. They took him. Oh. And that's how he joined the army.
How old?
16 and a half he was.
Right.
He was 16 he must have been, because he was 16 and a half in Gallipoli, or 17 and a half. Well, never mind. Well, he joined the Royal Engineers, as her Uncle Ronald was as well. So they used to go in the night, about 8 of them, and an officer, and he was the only one with a gun. He had
On
a
a night raid
revolver.
then?
And no, they used to steal land, steal ground,
Right. Yes.
push towards the front line.
Yeah.
But they went the wrong way, and they went straight into the Turkish lines. And they had to fight them off with their spades and their shovels and God knows what. And my father had a mention in dispatches for it. Now, that's one thing I'm trying to get Stephen. I want the numbers of my dad's medals, because there's numbers on them, because I've lost it.
Yeah.
And we should have it.
We've lost the mention in dispatches.
I've lost it. It is in a picture frame. It was framed. Winston Churchill's name is on it. It's a lower valour, but it's still for valour. You know, it's still recognised as being for bravery, like, you know. Yeah. And it's important that we have it, isn't it?
Yes.
So, of course, they were lost, completely lost now. And they landed up in with this Australian cavalry light horse. So they were with them for 3 months. They just worked with them. They'd have about 6 horses together, and then a big carriage and a gun on it. See? And the driver would be driving his 6 horses, or it might have been 4 horses, and the horses went berserk. You know, in the Dardanelles there was big cliffs there, and the horses went berserk, and they went over the cliff, and the driver jumped off, and he was court-martialed because he neglected his duty. The horse is more important than the man.
Yeah. Was your dad with them then?
No, he wasn't driving. He wasn't on that. No. But he was. That's what the story. One of the stories used to say.
And then he stayed with the Aussie Light for the rest of the war.
No. 3 months, and then they found their way back to their own lines. So they went back there. And when he came home, and I got pictures of him here, it was an Aussie hat on.
Yeah.
And in a tent, the round tents like that, you know. And
got them somewhere too.
when my father came home from the war, then he used to tell Mungie and the Key, now, look now, Mama and Dada, after things have settled down a little bit now, I'm going to go to Australia to live. And they were very, very worried, because Australia was the end of the world, other end of the world, Earth, wasn't it? So indeed, in the meantime, he met my mother. So he told her eventually, he went serious, you see, and he told her, and she said, well, it's either me or Australia. So she won. But his grandson is living out there. Mm-hmm. And you know, we went out there, see, and we were going along the road now, and I screamed, big wooden placard there, Museum of the Australian Light Horse. So, please, you can call whenever you want to and all. So I said, Stevie, what's the hell's the matter with you? Look at that, I said. What's the matter with it, he said. I see that every day. I said, the Key was with him. Well, he didn't know, see. So we were to go down about 5 miles down the road to go round a roundabout to come all the way back, because it's on the other side of the road. So we went in and explained to the curator what it was all about, you know. Oh, he was wonderful. He took us everywhere. And there's a big horse. Oh, I got a picture. Yeah. Big horse, like it looks like a real one, fur and all on it. And I'm holding a bridle there, joking when it is. And I'm looking in the pictures of round belt heads. And his pictures, I got one of Dad in them. And I'm looking to see if I can see his face in amongst them. But no, I didn't see his face. But it was such a wonderful thing.
So I know that the Aussie Light then were in what we now call Israel, isn't it? And that area. And they fought at the Battle of Beersheba. Yeah. Which you always... I think that your father was there at Beersheba. Yeah.
I know the names that they say, you see. And I think...
That's why I thought he was with the Aussie Light for the rest of the war, but it wasn't that. It's just that the British were at Beersheba as well. Oh.
Aye, it was, and other names, I can hear him saying the names now. Yeah. Mr. Matru. And you know what? He used to talk about the war, but he didn't say about nasty things, just the nice things. And he used to say the Arabs used to come up And they used to have bottles, and they say,
Yeah.
wine Johnny, wine Johnny.
Yeah.
And they used to give him a piaster, and they give him a wine, and it was pea. And after they found out what it was, then they'd be riding the horses, now see, and then the wine Johnny, kick him. I said, you used to kick him? Kick him, he said. I kicked the buggers, they're giving us pea to drink, buggers, and we were trying to save them.